Welcome to Baron's Hideout Podcast. I am your host,
And I'm
Dustin.
Aaron.
How's everybody doing today? Ah, this movie, dude, it makes you feel so
Oh,
gross.
I know.
And for anybody who doesn't know, we are reviewing The Devil's Rejects today. And I personally think that this is Rob Zombie's best film. I haven't seen every single Rob Zombie film, but for the ones that I have seen, um, they've been okay. Besides maybe Lords of Salem, because that movie was, Aaron, I don't know if you've
I
ever
have
seen
not.
that one, but that one's actually was all shot in Salem. And it's obviously based off of the witch trials, but the movie was the writing wasn't great. There's a lot of imagery and scenes of the witches, which were naked old ladies. So I mean, unless you're really into naked old lady witches, then I probably would say go and watch Lords of Salem. But his song, Lords of Salem, is really
Oh
good.
yeah.
Um, but man, I thought last week when we did Halloween, I had a lot of notes. I have almost 3 pages worth of notes over here, so we might not go through all of them. So I'm kind of anticipating today to actually be a little bit longer than last week, believe it or not. But how about you? What do you got for page length over there?
I've got about three too. Granted, my font's a little big on the big side, so I can read it easier. But I still got three
Yeah,
pages too, though.
I since I wrote down so much this week, I won't have any facts, but I believe Aaron he
I got a couple of
went
fun
and got some
facts.
facts for us. Okay, so there might not be a thing every week where we're gonna have facts for the movies, because sometimes I really just want to talk about the movie and what we're seeing and not really too much about behind the scenes. But if it's a movie that I really like, I will definitely go and dig into facts and probably try to get like at least half a page or of whatever I can
Yeah.
find. Sometimes you can't find too many facts about
hmm
movies. Um, Sometimes I go to other podcasts. I don't want to say that I like want to take people's knowledge, but I mean that's one way to kind of learn and listen to. One podcast that I have been listening to a lot lately is Behind the Screams podcast, and I think they're from Ireland, and they are really cool. They have almost
Oh
like a
wow.
hundred episodes, and I've been trying to catch up on them. So Aaron, I'm gonna shoot you a link.
Yeah.
Remind me
I
later
think I
to
may
do
have
that.
heard of them.
And they're really cool, and they have some really good knowledge. And of course, I think the one that every horror fan listens to is Postmortem with Mick Garris, which I think is probably one of the best podcasts around right now for horror. Because obviously he made so many movies. He made a lot of Stephen King adaptations. He made Critters 2. Um, just so many movies, and he's really cool. So if you want a lot of knowledge on behind the scenes stuff, definitely go check him out. But today our main focus is Rob Zombie's The Devil's Rejects. This is episode 3. I have to say, even though we only have 3 episodes, I feel like we've been doing this for
Yeah.
like months.
Right.
Um, but I think we had you open up with Halloween, so I think what we're gonna try to do for these episodes to kind of keep it balanced is you can go back and forth about the openings, and I mean obviously we're gonna be talking about all the
yeah.
scenes together, but just to have one of us open, and then we'll go right down the row over here.
All right.
Uh so we open up with a pretty like gritty looking pictures. of people that were killed from the previous film, A House of a
Which
Thousand
is
Corpses, which we have not done a review on. We might later, but the reason why we picked this one, I feel I don't know Aaron's reason why he wanted to do this one. He picked this week's, but I think it's Rob Zombie's strongest film. The writing's really good for the
yeah,
most part, and it's also very fun and very it's tough to get through
yeah.
some parts.
There's a few parts in there that are a little sickening, but
So
it's a Rob Zombie
yeah,
movie, so
it was really good. And Aaron and I both are
oh
huge Rob
yeah.
Zombie fans. We've seen him, I think, almost
Mm-hmm.
5 times. So let's get to the
All right.
opening of this. We open with some gritty looking pictures of, like I said, the people that were killed in the first film, which is House of a Thousand Corpses. So if you guys haven't seen that, please go watch it. It's not as good as this one,
It's Rob
but it's still
Zombie's
pretty good.
debut
It's
movie,
Rob
yeah.
Zombie's first film,
So
so you got to cut him some slack there. And then it has like a little bit of a brief, almost summary from the last movie going into this one, which is the
mhm,
first scene of Sheriff Wydell saying that he's going on a search and destroy mission to the farmhouse that the Devil's Rejects, which they are actually called in this film. I don't think they were called that in the
no.
first one, but we actually get like what their group name is called, the Devil's Rejects, in this film. So he's on his way to there. And as this is going on, we also have a naked woman who I believe is dead.
Yeah, I think she's supposed to be, but one thing I noticed, you can clearly see her eyes are moving. Um, yeah,
Oh, they
if you
are?
go back and rewatch, just watch her eyes. You
Oh,
can.
I'll definitely have to
I
do that
noticed
one.
that.
I wasn't sure.
Um,
That was like one of the things I wasn't sure of. I was like, I think she's dead, but I'm not
yeah, that's what
100%
I
sure.
was trying
So
to figure
if you can carry on with
out.
that
But
scene.
yeah. So you got a naked chick being dragged through the dirt. Um, with strategically placed leaves and mud. Um, turns out she is being carried by Tiny. Tiny is one of the brothers or one of the sons of the Firefly family. He's from the
Yep.
last movie. Um, he receives a bunch of police cruisers and trucks driving by. Um, he so he hides. He goes into the woods. He does his things, drags his dead body away. Anyway, um,
Yep. With I think he has a
yeah.
sack over his
Oh
head,
yeah, and he
Jason
pulls it
style.
off, and you can see his deformed face, which actually,
Yeah, he's all like
mhm,
disfigured.
um, which actually did it. I haven't seen the uh House of a Thousand Corpses in a while. Did it explain what happened to him, or
I think like I haven't seen it in a while either, but I think I remember him. I think he was burned when he
oh
was
okay,
younger, but I also think that he was already born. I think he was premature and he had a lot of problems
yeah,
and stuff. But I think the big thing, I think he was burned when he
hmm
was a kid.
but then we cut over to the Firefly residence, or where they were hiding out at least. After the first movie, um, and the police
Yep.
arrive, guns in hand, ready, to take these guys down. And
Yeah, and I love Sheriff Waddell's quote. The guy asks him, "Are we gonna die here today?" And he
oh
says,
nope.
"Dying's not an option." And one thing I do gotta point out is I think in House of a Thousand Corpses, I think most of the film was
hmm
at night or during a storm, so it was very
yeah,
dark and cloudy. In this one, you actually see the farmhouse during the day, which I thought
yeah,
was really really cool. And then we get a glimpse of inside with the Devil's Rejects because I think at that point the sheriff has already called them the Devil's Rejects or it was in the
yep,
text. It was one of those. And they start saying shit and fuck like I don't
Um,
even know how many times I was gonna count it,
I
but I
got
was
an
like, you know
F-bomb
what?
count for the
They
movie.
say, oh, okay, so we Aaron's on that one. So then they, what's really funny is so the police are outside getting ready for a shootout, and what they do, like the Devil's Rejects, what they do is they put on like welding masks
It looks
or
like
just
sheet
like
metal, yeah, or
homemade
something.
like armor that has like looks like pillows and then like a really thin layer of metal. I'm like, I don't think that's gonna really
Yeah.
save you. But one thing I thought was really cool and kind of shows like kind of how powerful these people are is when they start throwing in tear gas. And by the way, the guy who throws the tear gas in there has like the
I know,
perfect throw.
right?
Um, we're just right in the window, and that's it. But the tear gas doesn't even bother them.
I was wondering about
They
that.
are just completely fine.
I saw that. They didn't even put on
And
gas masks or anything, and they're just
nope, nope. They're just like whatever. And then I think one of the brothers, the guy who is like really heavily
Yep.
armored, I think he gets killed by the police.
Rufus, I think his name
While
is.
baby, yeah, I didn't look up his character because he was not really in it that long. But yeah, I think it
Yeah.
was Rufus. Um, and while that's happening, Baby and Otis are going through like an escape hatch where like they keep all the prisoners and people that they kill. And I don't remember if they're cannibals or not. I don't think
No,
they eat people. I think they just kill them and then fuck them for the
basically.
most part. And as they are escaping, their mama, Mother Firefly, is arrested.
Which tries to go out, with a bang, but it doesn't work in her favor.
Yep. Nope. I think she
Yep.
ran out of bullets, right? That was really funny.
But and then let's see. Let me just scroll over to the side here. There we go. Yeah. So the mother gets arrested. Otis and Baby
Hmm.
escape through what looked like the Barrens from it actually. Um, like the pipes.
Actually, yeah, yeah. Now that you're thinking of it, it does kind of look like that set, doesn't it?
um, but yeah. So when they call Captain Spaulding, or Gunner, I think his name was real name was Gunner or Cutter. Cutter, that's what it was. Um,
Yeah. Yep.
and they agree to meet at a motel. Um,
Yeah. Oh, I didn't write down the
I
hotel's
forget what it
name,
was. Yeah.
but it's not really that important. But what's really funny, like leading up to that too, is like we get this montage of Mother Firefly being arrested, and then Babies is like laying in the street
Oh, yep.
playing dead, and Otis just like goes and just like kills that poor lady, and they're like, okay, well I'm gonna take this person's car, and then we jump to Captain Spaulding, having a dream of him getting fucked by like some whore, and then he wakes up to another girl, and then they call him and they're like, okay, well we'll meet at this hotel where we always say we're gonna be planned, and then we get introduced to another new character, Charlie, which I don't think he was ever mentioned or
I don't think so either.
even shown in House of a
Yeah.
Thousand Corpses, but apparently he's the Devil's Rejects, I guess, uncle, because he's Captain Spaulding's best friend, and he's talking to one of his not strippers, but one of
His
his, I guess,
his hose.
they're all prostitutes, you know, yeah, prostitutes, hoes, whatever you want to call them nowadays. Um, about saying that he's not, how she's not pulling enough money and all this other stuff, and they're talking about, oh well, maybe we should start doing space shit, and then I forget his friend's name. He was calling them robots, and then his friends like they call them droids. They call them droids. And he's just like, shut up. And then I think from there, oh, I just lost my doc.
uh, let's see.
Oh jeez,
Um,
keeps disappearing
no,
on
I
me.
believe it goes. As I said, and I believe it goes over to Otis and Baby arriving at the hotel. Um, They find Spalding not there. Um,
Yep.
so they decide to they come across a traveling band actually, which is two couples and one random dude. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
The
the
roadie.
roadie. And so they decide to take them hostage in their hotel room. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I think Baby starts flirting with I think his name is Roy.
yep. Oh, the old dude. Yeah.
Yeah, Roy, and I think his last name is Sullivan, and the band's like something something Sullivan or whatever it is. It has to do with like his name.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is when things start getting a little uncomfortable in this film, which I honestly totally forgot how uncomfortable some of these scenes were. But I think it's not Roy, it's Adam, which is the other dude, not the roadie, but the other like main
Yep.
band member. His wife, I believe, is taking a
Yeah.
shower, and Otis and Baby they take Roy back to the room, and they're like, "Oh, who's in the shower?" And then Otis goes in there, grabs her, and they pretty much start almost torturing them at this point. And then I think we cut to after some of the stuff is going on. Oh wait,
Oh.
no, sorry, I'm skipping ahead. But as they're doing that, they get a knock on the door from the roadie, and then everything's like okay. Baby brings him in, and then Otis just shoots
Oh,
him right in
that's.
the head. And I think from
I was gonna say that
go
was
ahead,
probably
Aaron.
one of my favorite kills in the movie, to be honest, because it was just so like out of nowhere, you know.
Yeah, everything with with these people is just very random, and it's just kind of
Yeah,
impulse.
the
And
psycho.
we get that kill, everybody's screaming ah, and then we jump to Spalding again, where he's making his way to uh the
Yep.
hotel, and his car breaks down, and then then he just walks up to a mother and a son,
Oh, this scene's hilarious.
knocks out the mom, and then gets in the car, and the son's like all scared and everything because
You
he's in
like
the car with
clowns?
him. He's talking about clowns, and he's like, "Aren't we fucking funny?" And then he's like telling the kid to fucking get
Oh.
out. The lines in this movie are very very funny. I do have to hand it to Rob Zombie with coming up with some pretty funny
Mm-hmm.
lines. And then he Spalding takes the car, and he's just going down the road. Then we jump back to Baby and Otis in the
In the
gang,
hotel.
and yep, and Baby singing and dancing. I didn't quote what she was singing and dancing,
Something about rusty
but
knees.
she's
Look at these. Rust. Something
yeah,
weird.
right, like rusty
And then she.
knees. Like I don't know what that. I think she's like maybe mimicking Roy's wife because they're kind of
Yeah.
older. So I think maybe she was like trying to like make fun of them
Mm-hmm.
in a way. And Otis then starts asking Roy like, "Are you thinking dirty thoughts about my sister?" And he's just like, "No." He's like, "Why not? Like, she's young." And then he this is when things start getting really, really uncomfortable. So sorry if we get a little graphic. We, I'm gonna try not to so much, just because I don't want to upset anybody. Because this stuff is pretty serious. Because I know something along the lines like this definitely does happen in real life. We're just not really all aware of it
Mm-hmm.
all the time. But Otis has Roy's wife stand in front of him and starts pressuring her to strip,
Perform fellatio type
and it
services.
gets yeah, it gets very, very intense, especially with the music that's playing in the background, because it's not really music, it's more just like really powerful like background
Yeah.
noise. And then he starts having her pretty much give him a blowjob while Roy is watching all this happen, and then tells her to go away, and I think he calls her a whore or
He
something like
starts like
that.
rubbing his gun on her and
Yeah, it's very very graphic. And Rob Zombie always likes to kind of push the
oh
limits
yeah.
of things. And Aaron, if you want to talk about the
All
next
right.
scene.
Let's see. Um, that's when they're questioning the mother, right? Mother Firefly, and
Yes, I think we
yep,
get a scene of
yeah.
that.
So
Yep.
we got a scene of them question the sheriff questioning Mother Firefly. She is one crazy bitch.
Oh,
um,
dude. Yep. Say that again.
so she kind of whored herself out, um, and multiple
Multiple times.
times the police knew about that. She thought, that they wanted to sleep with her and basically just, talking shit. Um, but then you go over to back over to Otis and the gang, I believe, right?
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yep.
he decides to take the guys out for a little trip. Takes them out to the desert. Um,
And like the
I
weirdest
know,
spot too.
middle of nowhere, but I forget what he initially takes them out for, but probably just
He takes them to
oh
get
yeah,
guns, which is kind of funny to think that he remembers where he buried those guns in this spot that's in the
yep.
middle of nowhere. But
But yeah, he takes those.
go ahead, Aaron. I got some
Oh yeah,
technical
you're good.
difficulties over here, so just
But
keep going.
yeah, he takes the two guys from the band out. Um, they decide to pull some shit. One guy decides to be a hero, hits Otis in the back of the head with a big plank, starts beating him.
Yeah, I love that part. That was
um,
great.
he takes it like a champ. He gets right up. He shoots the guy in the neck. Um, they get into a little bit of fight. Both guys end up dead. And bashed.
This is also a pretty
Yeah,
intense
very
scene
gory.
as well.
Um,
But
oh
we
yeah.
love gore, don't we?
um, and there's this one quote that just stuck out was that I'm the devil and I'm here to do the devil's work. It's just
Yeah, I actually wrote that down too. Yeah,
scary,
that's also a really
creepy.
good line. I think been quoted a
Yeah.
lot too over the years, but that's definitely a really good line. Um, yeah. So he kills Roy by bashing his brains in pretty hard, and then he goes back over to Adam and cuts off his face, which we find in the
Ooh.
next scene.
Um, yeah.
And then we jump back to Baby and the girls, and one of the girls really, really has to pee. And Baby is like, "You want special favors? You need to give me something in return." So she has the Adam's wife slap Roy's wife, I forget their names, um, to go to the bathroom. So she essentially wants her to like slap her really hard. They do a couple like light
Yep.
taps, and Baby gets kind of upset. And then when she actually pretty much
She
uh,
actually hurts her.
slaps her hard enough, Baby calls Adam's wife back over, and then quotes.
Wendy and Gloria.
She says,
Yeah.
"Wendy and Gloria, okay, yep." And she says, "Give me a kiss and say thank you, baby. I'm having a really good time." So she wants Adam's wife to say that, and I'm pretty sure one of this actually ties into Halloween. Believe it or not, one of the I think it's Roy's wife is PJ
No.
Souls, who was Linda in
Yeah, I actually had
Halloween.
something written down too. Is the mother who Spalding stole the car from, supposedly. Yeah.
Oh, is it her? It's one. It's either the wife or it's the girl that the mother. I always get them
Yep.
confused. But I know that PJ Souls
Yeah.
is in the movie,
But yeah, it was
which I thought
right.
was really cool.
It's kind of funny how we did that movie last week too.
Yeah, I know, right? I was not really expecting that. I totally forgot. And then let's see. Sorry guys, I'm trying to fix things over here. So sorry for all of our audio listeners right now. I'm just trying to get my other half of everything back up. Um so
And
uh
then so she goes into the bathroom.
I think she Yeah, so uh, Adam's wife tries to escape while she's in the bathroom, because I guess is pretty much her whole plan. And there's this one little teeny tiny window she tries to get, but before she does that, she starts knocking over a bunch of shit. And then she's like, "Oh, fuck, fuck," and all the fucks in the world. And then baby goes to the door while Roy's wife takes her gun, which we'll find out what that gun really is very very soon. And they're kind of staring at each other, baby and Roy's
Yep.
wife, and she's like, "Go ahead, shoot me, do it, do it." So she doesn't do it, and then baby has an awesome knife
Uh,
toss right into
Bowie
the
knife.
chest, and I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
And then
I think I actually have.
he
Sorry, go ahead.
takes.
I was gonna
Go ahead,
say I
Aaron.
think I
Go ahead.
actually have that down as my number one kill too. Yeah,
Oh, really?
but
Yeah. So she takes out the knife again, and then shows her that the gun was pretty much fake. And
it's all for scare
then
tactics.
she kills her. And sorry, I lost my
She
spot.
kills.
Oh, that's right. The Adam's wife then runs out while all this is happening, and then you get a little chase scene of baby, and then she winds up running into
Yep.
Spalding, and then she gets headbutted super hard, and then we jump back to the sheriff. And Aaron, if you want to talk about that.
Yep. The sheriff. That's one sec. I think I lost my place. My bad.
That's okay. I'm doing the exact same thing. I have so many notes over here. It's so hard to keep track because this movie has a
Yeah, it
lot going
does.
on.
All right. Um. Oh, so They're still interrogating the mother. Yep.
Yep.
Oh, wait.
And then we get, I think, the movie critic stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So they he calls. He wants to talk to his movie critic. Um, because he has information on the aliases that they used were based on characters from a certain actor's movies. Um,
Yeah, which I thought was
yeah,
actually kind of cool. I wish they kind of expanded on this a little bit more. I mean, they kind of do throughout the
yeah,
movie, but I feel like that would have been a little bit better if they added more
yep.
context to it.
Um, but then let's see. Um, the guy comes to the office to the police station. They get he talks shit about Elvis. Sheriff gets
Oh, I
pissed.
love it.
Um, because I guess Elvis.
You don't talk shit about the
Yeah,
king,
right.
man.
But yeah, the besides that, there wasn't too much to that scene. And then it's the next day, I believe, when there's the maid, right? The room service scene, or
Well, I think before that we get the scene of Otis now running into the room with him
oh
wearing
yes, 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 the
Adam's
face
face,
mask.
and then he decides, yeah, he decides to put it on Adam's wife, which is super
Oh, I
fucked up,
know.
dude. Super fucked up. Wearing your husband's face, and then we get to the next morning. They're all
Yep.
gone now, and then the housekeeper is going and wants to go clean the room because they left. And as she goes into the room, she walks into the bathroom, and you see all the dead bodies, and it says the devil's
Fuck
rejects
you.
and some other little things on the
There's
wall.
blood.
And then as she turns around, because she's screaming, we see Adam's wife is tied up to a door, but she falls onto the
With
housekeeper.
the mask on, mind you.
And then, yep, with Adam's face on. And then housekeeper runs out with Adam's wife pretty much following. And then I think the housekeeper runs a
She
different
runs.
way. and then she keeps running straight into a field, which I love this. I love this. She, run, she runs into the road, like someone's gonna stop for her. One car swerves around, and then we get this giant
Just
truck, this splat. It's great. It is so good. And then we see the follow up with um seeing all her like guts
teeth
and
and
everything
brain
on
and
the
yeah.
road, and it's
Oh.
great. And then the sheriff tells one of the deputies or whatever to go scoop some of that up. Go scoop it up. It's like, why? What do you need that for?
What's that gonna help
I
you
mean,
with?
maybe if you're trying to identify somebody, but I don't think you need brain
Yeah.
matter to identify somebody, you know. And I think also during that scene is when we get the introduction of the Unholy Two, and they're pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool. Danny Trejo and
Diamond Dallas
who's the other dude?
Page.
That's it. That's it. I looked it up, but I didn't write it down.
Um.
And then we get the famous ice
Oh
cream
man.
scene. There you go, Aaron. I know you love that scene, so I'll let you talk about that.
um. Let's see. Um. So they're driving down the road with you got Spalding and Baby in the van that they
Yep.
stole. They tell him to drive to Charlie's brothel. Um, but he doesn't. Otis doesn't trust Charlie. Um, but so he goes and tells him to drive there anyway. Baby sees a sign for ice cream 10 miles down the road, and she goes, um, "I'm gonna get a craving for ice cream in about 10 miles." Um,
I love that.
he tells her that he won't stop because those 20 seconds that are just a waste of time.
Yep, because it could be
They can
being,
get caught. Yeah.
trailed.
They proceed to, just chant Tootie fucking true, fruity fucking Trudy, Tootie fucking Tootie. Yeah,
Tutti
there you
fucking
go.
fruity.
And then
Tutti fucking fruity. Tutti
Tootie
fucking
fucking
fruity.
fruity, and then
And
they
then they
got their
get
ice
their ice
cream.
cream. It's so good. And then they like start like fucking around with Otis because he didn't get any, and then they put ice
Yep.
cream on his nose. It's so funny. It's like they kind of make it like I think Rob Zombie wants you to like these
Yeah.
characters, like you want to like identify with them, because they have moments like this where it's like that's really funny. I would definitely do that with
Yeah.
friends and stuff. But then you realize how just awful
Yeah.
these
Right.
people are and the shit that they do, you know. And then after that, we get I believe it's like a daydream slash nightmare scene, which at first you're kind of like,
Yeah.
what is
I was a
this?
little confused at
You think it's
first.
like actually happening, and it's the sheriff. He's having like a nightmare slash daydream, and he's at the farmhouse,
In the
and then
basement,
he's going to the basement, and he sees his brother
who was killed in the
George.
last movie.
Yeah, I think he was one of the first to show up at the house because I think, crap, I need to rewatch the first movie to really figure out the whole plot. Um, but yeah, he's down there, and George is like, "You need to kill these guys. You need to kill them for me,"
Otherwise, I'm not gonna move
and all this
on
other
and
stuff.
all that.
Yeah, and then he wakes up, and then he's at the office, but I think we get another scene with him and the Unholy too, right? There, he's like talking to them and saying, well, he gets a call. I think he gets the call, and that's
Yep.
what wakes him up. I'm thinking
Yeah.
too far ahead. So he gets the call, and they're like, "Hey, we figured out who these people are based on like the aliases that they're using and all this other stuff."
Yep.
And then they're like, "The shit is on," and now they're pretty much going and trailing the rejects.
Yeah.
And then we get another scene with Mother Firefly and the
Oh
sheriff.
yeah.
And the sheriff is like, "I found them and I'm gonna kill them." And she's like, "Good, kill them." And then she's like trying to be all like sexual and gross and all this other stuff, saying like, "Hey, I'll give you a good time right now," pretty much. And then he's like, "Oh yeah," and they get like really close, which is it's very kind of
It is.
unsettling knowing that like the sheriff is doing this. but it's also kind of funny because she kind of deserves what
Mhm.
happens to her, and he just stabs the knife in her, and he's like playing with it, and she's like making all these weird like facial like gestures and everything, which I guess you'd probably make if you're
Yeah.
being stabbed and hurt. But that was also a really good that scene. I think that might have been one of my favorites because of how
Yeah,
intimate
right.
it was.
Yeah, it was a good one. I didn't see it coming at first,
Yeah.
but
Now, I'm trying to think back when I first saw the movie if I had a feeling that was coming, but I honestly thought that maybe when I was watching it for the first time, I thought he was gonna give it in and they were just gonna like
it's
fool
gonna be another
around and then he
sex
was gonna
scene.
let her go and like use her. Yeah, and like use her to lure them, which I thought would have been a really cool way to do it, but she definitely would have betrayed him, like there's no way that she would have stayed loyal to him to draw out
Oh
her
yeah.
family. No. And then we get Charlie's Frontier Fun
Ooh.
Town. And Aaron, I'll let you
All
talk
right.
about that.
So you got the gang. They arrive at Charlie's Frontier Funtown, which is a brothel run by Charlie, who's a friend
Yeah.
of Spalding's. Which, like Dustin said, there's not much mention of them in the last movie, if any at all. But it's
Yeah. I think very little.
but it's you can tell they're friends, they're old friends. They all know each other. Um, but they get
Yep.
there. Charlie walks aside with a shotgun, threatening them, telling them to put their hands up in the air. They listen. Otis gets pissed because he doesn't know what the fuck's going on. He thinks they're being,
Nice fucking
yeah,
plan,
he
Daisy.
thinks they're screwed at this point. So Spalding's like, just do what he says. Um,
Yep.
and Charlie goes up to Spalding, puts the shotgun in his face after a little shit talking, and it's a water gun.
Which is a
Yeah,
badass
right.
water gun,
He goes,
man.
"Isn't this the realest
That
fucking
thing looks
squirt gun you've ever
so
seen?"
real. Yeah, that's awesome. I kind of want that just because it's a squirt gun
Yeah,
and it
right.
looks awesome.
So they hug each other, they catch up, and um, there's a
Party
party montage,
montage.
cocaine, weed, you know it, all the fun stuff. um,
And I think as that's going on too, we get the sheriff also. He's like working on lines like he's an actor or something, like what he's gonna say to
oh, yep.
Spalding and all this other stuff. It's like you fucking clown. Fucking hate you. I've been looking for you, fucking clown. And all right, this is my favorite scene, I think, throughout the whole movie, just because of how much I was fucking laughing, is the
The
chickens for
chicken
sale.
scene.
So, it's Charlie and
Cleavon's his name, by the way.
his I
Clevin
what's
or
what is it?
Cleavon? Cleavon. Yeah, that's the
Oh,
guy's.
okay, yeah. I forget the actor's name, but he was also in The Hills Have Eyes, the
Mm-hmm.
original. Oh crap! I totally forget his name. I should have wrote it down. I didn't really get too many like other facts and stuff for this one, like I said, because I have so
Yeah.
many notes. Um, but they go and they want to get some chickens, just to have for dinner and all this other stuff. And then the guy who's selling the chickens like, y'all aren't planning on fucking these chickens, are ya? And then Charlie's like, the fuck? What'd you just ask me? And they're like, are you a chicken fucker? And then he's like going on and saying like, if you're desperate, talking I think about Charlie's friend, saying like he looks like he needs a release, and tells him like if you just cut off the head of the chicken, start fucking and it'll be like a pussy. And then they like say I don't think they grab the chickens because then they're like I'm not a chicken
Mhm.
fucker. You're a chicken fucker. And then they just keep saying chicken fucker, and it's so
Oh my god.
funny. And then I think as they drive off, the sheriff pulls up in front of Charlie, which is like great
Mm-hmm.
timing. I think it would have been really funny if it was down there as they were talking
Yeah,
about chicken
right.
fucking, and then he probably would have. I don't know if he would have arrested that dude, but he probably would have did something to him because this sheriff is like off the hooks. Like he doesn't follow any
Yeah.
rules really, sort of, but not really. So he talks to Charlie, and he's like saying like you need to get him to this spot at this time, and we're gonna take him out. And then Charlie's was gonna say no, but then he starts like squishing his fingers in the door and pretty much makes him submit to having
Yeah.
to help.
Um.
And I think we get another
Yep.
montage. But go ahead,
I was
Aaron.
just gonna say, then you get more partying. Um. Uh. Then Waddell meets up with the two bounty hunters, played
Yep,
by Danny Trejo and fuck, I forget the other guy's name already, but um,
Dallas Page.
yeah,
We'll just say that. I think it's
yeah,
Diamond
yeah, that's
Dallas
what it
Page.
was. Um, but anyway, um, they meet up at the. Well, hold on, I'm hearing sounds on my computer. Technical
That is okay.
difficulties.
Tonight has been a little weird one.
Um. Anyway. There aren't any Macs signed into your iCloud account. What? You hear that?
Yeah, I do. Guys, this is a
Oh,
special episode.
there's
Episode
my
number
Apple
3.
Watch.
Is it? Oh, it's your Apple Watch. That's hilarious. That's really funny. Aaron's like wearing headphones just for our audio users, so he thinks it's
Sorry,
coming from
guys.
his computer.
All right.
Yeah,
Um.
it's okay.
so-
You know, you can not all your podcasts are gonna be 100%, focused on everything. Tonight's been a weird night. But
Anyway,
go ahead,
the
Aaron.
sheriff he meets up with the two bounty hunters. He tells them that they're gonna be at Charlie's brothel at midnight. Um. He warns them, not to mess anything up, and he doesn't care what condition that they're in, but he wants to piss in their face before they die. They
Yeah, which is
they
like
call him a
really.
sick fuck. And
He's like, you're a real sick
yeah,
fuck, aren't you?
he just tells them not to mess up.
I
He's
love
like,
it.
"Don't fuck this shit up." Um, so it's pass over to midnight. Um, you got Charlie and Spalding doing some coke. Um, classic. But then you see Charlie take the coke as he leaves the room, telling Spalding that you're my best friend, but my drugs are more important than you. And then just
Yeah,
leaves
it's
the
like, are you
room.
fucking kidding?
Um, while Spalding decides to puff on a joint. Otis is in bed with Candy, who is just like one of Charlie's prostitutes, I believe. Um,
Yep,
and Baby's taking a sponge bath, um, talking to another
so
prostitute,
funny.
um,
I don't think we got her name. Maybe we did like
Cassie.
once, but that was it. I don't remember her name.
Cassie Beers.
Cassie? Okay.
um, let's see. Then Rondo, who is Danny Trejo, sneaks up behind Candy, or yeah, no, Cassie. Um,
Yeah, Cassie I think dies first. Yep.
and stabs her, I believe, right? Covers her mouth violently and
Slits her
slits her
throat or
throat.
stabs her.
Um, and orders Baby to get out of the tub, completely naked. Gets clothes. She grabs Otis's gun and tries to shoot um Billy, but he shoots
Yep.
her first. Um, and so she's dead. Oh, straight to the forehead too, actually, which that
Yeah, it's another like
accuracy.
straight to the head.
um,
Yeah. Two like super like accurate shots in
yeah.
this movie.
So Otis lunges at Billy, who throws him up through a window. Um,
Yep.
and just in time, the sheriff gets there. Um, the
The
showdown, the
showdown.
final showdown.
Sheriff versus Spalding.
Spalding's hiding. He decides to throw back a few shots. Um, and then decides to
Mm.
sneak up on him. Spalding, they talk some more shit. There's a lot of shit talking in this movie. Um,
Yeah, a lot of shits and fucks and shit talking.
um, so they have this whole conversation, going back and forth. The sheriff shoots Spalding in the stomach or the chest. Um, and then the family realizes Charlie had betrayed them and, you know, um, let
Yep.
the sheriff in and um let's see, he gets all the He gets the family together in the back of his truck. He ties them all up. Um,
And they're at the
yep.
farmhouse. Yep.
And
Which I actually really enjoyed this scene. I just wish it lasted a little bit longer. I mean, this movie was already almost like
mhm,
2 hours, but I think this whole interrogation scene plus sort of torture scene, but not really. I think he could have went a little bit harder
yeah,
on them while they were
yeah,
tied up. So he has pictures of all the people that they've killed, and then he asks like who did it, and they're kind of like, "Well, I did it." No, but I did it, and then I did it. But he really focuses a lot on
yeah,
Otis, which I thought he was a little bit more towards hating Spaulding more, but I think equally he hates
yeah.
all of them the same. But he takes the pictures and staples them like a ton of
Uh-huh.
times into each of their chests. Then he takes out, I think, the picture of his
Yep.
brother, or is that later
I think
on?
that might have been after.
No, I think it's
Or
now,
yeah.
and then I think he staples it
Yep.
baby, and then he says a quote, "I hate fucking clowns," while he's holding like a cattle prod, and just
Tasing
starts
the shit out of them.
shocking the hell out of Spaulding, and then shows the picture of Mother Firefly, and they're all
Oh
pissed.
yeah.
They are all pissed. Then I think he lets baby go because he says, "I have something special planned for you." And then we see, oh no,
He's drunk while he does all this
starts
too.
nailing Otis' hands to the chair, and I think he quotes something from the Bible. I didn't put that quote here, but I
Yep.
think he did. And as baby is running away, he's putting gas all over the house and around Otis and Spaulding, and then lights it on fire. As baby is running away, the sheriff starts picking up this weapons and stuff, and pretty much taunts her and says, "I'm gonna find you, and I'm gonna kill you." And as baby runs into, I think it was the
Yep.
barn, um, Charlie's there, and then they make their way to a car. And it's this at this point, you're like, well, they're definitely getting away, or whatever. They're like already super far ahead
Hmm.
of the sheriff, but nope,
He's
Charlie's
right
dead.
there.
I think he gets shot,
Charlie.
or he gets an
Yep.
axe to the
And
neck.
then he chops
He
him
gets an
up
axe to the
afterwards.
neck. Yeah, which is pretty
Pretty brutal.
pretty ridiculous. And then we get the sheriff versus baby, and he rips her out of the car and then starts whipping her. I think she's still tied up at this point. I don't think her arms are free. No, did he cut her arms free,
That's
or
actually kind of funny because
I
I
don't
was reading
remember.
like a goof or spoof or something earlier about how like at one point she was using her hands when she was supposed to be tied up or something. But yeah.
Oh, really? I might have to go back and rewatch this
Um
whole part
but
to
I'm
see if
pretty
those I mess
sure
up.
she's untied at this point.
Yeah, I think she is too. And she's like crawling on the
He shoots her
ground,
in
and
the
he's
leg.
saying like, "I wish I had like a." Yep. And I think he says like, "I wish I had like a bullwhip or something," but he has like it's either a belt or like some part of a harness for a
Yeah.
horse, I
He just starts
think.
beating the
And it starts
shit
like
out of her.
whipping her. And then we get kind of a surprise here, which I totally forgot this happens. We get Sheriff versus Tiny,
It's not much of a
and
fight.
Tiny fucking wins. Just picks him up in slow mo and snaps his neck,
Like nothing.
and it is great. It's great. Tiny is
He's like
huge, by
seven
the
four
way.
or
If you
something. The
guys
guy who
haven't
played
seen
him.
this, he he's
Hmm.
huge, and it's crazy. And I forget how do they get out of the house again? I know they break free, but
Tiny
is
goes
it
in
Tiny
and
that
he
does
rips
it?
the nails out of his hands and unties them, and
Yeah,
then
that's right.
they all escape in Charlie's car. Otis is in the driver's seat. Yeah.
He's always driving.
um, but yeah, they're all in the car. And then Otis asks him, he's like, "You sure you want to do this?" And he nods, and he says they'll come back for him. But then so they start to drive off, and Tiny just walks into the burning building and it explodes. So I don't know what that like. Are you sure you know what I mean? Like why? Why not just go with them?
Yeah, I was thinking about that too because they're like, "Oh, we'll come back for you." I was thinking about this a little bit too. It's like, what they mean? Like they're gonna come back and
Honor them, or
bury him?
yeah,
Are they gonna come back and he's still gonna be
yeah, right.
alive? And for those of you who don't know, there's a sequel to this, Three from Hell, and I don't remember Tiny being in it at
Yeah.
all. Then again, this Devil's Rejects came out in 2005, I
Hmm.
believe, and Three from Hell came out, was it
Or
2018
19.
or
I
was
think
it
it's 19.
2019? It was one of those, so it's a long, long gap. So maybe that actor isn't acting
Oh, the
anymore, or
one who
he's not
plays Tiny
around or
actually
whatever.
died
So,
shortly after this movie finished. Yeah, the movie's
oh
dedicated
really?
to
All
him.
right, so there's our facts. See, I'm so happy you have these facts because I don't
Yep.
have anything.
Yeah, when
Right,
next time we watch it, look in the
and then
beginning. I forget his name. Actually, I have it somewhere over here. Um, but yeah, if you look in the beginning of the movie, who it's dedicated to, that's the actor who plays Tiny. He ended up dying. Yeah,
oh, really? Okay. I thought it was like a family member or something, because you know sometimes like directors like do like a
yeah.
family member thing or whatever it is.
But yeah,
But a short-lived Tiny.
mm-hmm.
That's sad.
Um,
And then he goes in there, and then we get to the closing scene, which I remember this closing scene a little bit differently than what what I saw for some reason. Like I know we get the whole free bird at the end, making it seem like hey, they finally made
yeah.
it out, they're completely
I wouldn't say
fine.
completely
And then as
fine,
I
but
but yeah,
yeah.
you know what I mean. Like they
Oh,
are
I
really
know.
fucked up. They're super fucked. But for the most part, you're like, oh, okay, so they must be moving on. They're fine, free to
Yeah.
do whatever they want. You know, free bird. But hell no, man. We get as the ending of the song comes and it gets more intense. If you guys know the free bird, I think everybody knows. They start going up to they get to a roadblock with a ton of cops, and they're like, "All right, what's this take out our one pistol or shotgun?" And Otis, you just keep on driving, and then they just get fucking
Pedal to the
torn
metal towards
to
that
shreds, supposedly.
supposedly.
Like I said, there is a sequel to this, which I need to rewatch Three from Hell because I totally forget how it opens. But I know they are all arrested, but you can clearly see that they're
Yeah.
dead. Like you can see all the
There's no
bullet
way
holes
anyone
going through them and
survives that.
everything. Yeah. But as I was saying, I remember this ending being a little bit differently. I thought that they um drove into the barricade and then were killed.
Maybe
But
it's an
I
alternate
guess
ending.
maybe. But that's pretty much the movie in summary. There's a lot going on in this movie. Um, I guess this episode might actually be a little bit shorter. I thought it was
Yeah.
going to be longer. But anyway, I really
Yeah.
like this movie. I know a lot of people that I knew when this movie came out, and I think even still now, people say that movie's kind of trash,
Yeah. I
but I
think
don't
he
think
did get a
so.
lot of shit for it, but I enjoyed it. Um,
Yeah, I mean, this was Rob Zombie's, because I think he did Halloween
that was
remake. Bef-
2007, isn't it?
oh, I thought
I
it was
could be
before
wrong.
this. So maybe he did House of a Thousand Corpses and then this, because I don't think he did
Because House
anything
of a Thousand Corpses is
in
'03, I
between.
believe. '02 or '03. Then this, and then I think it was '07 for Halloween, but again, I could be wrong.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Um,
And a lot of people don't like Rob Zombie's Halloween. I'm kind of in between of liking and not liking that movie, but we can talk about that a
oh yeah,
whole nother
that's a whole
time.
nother conversation.
We have so much stuff to talk about, but
Yeah.
this movie, it just I have to say it again, it makes you feel very dirty and
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
It's very
But
like
it's definitely Rob
gritty and
Zombie.
like
Yeah, it's very much like a Rob Zombie music video.
hmm
Cause like his music videos are very gritty and not really uncomfortable, but you can kind of feel a little gross watching it. This movie is very grainy. I don't know what they used
I
for
get like
equipment, but they
I actually hold on one sec. Continue talking. I found something earlier.
okay, okay. But they definitely were using some sort of equipment to make it very gritty feeling, but I love it. I love film grain in movies. I hate film grain in video games. But if you can get a really good line of film grain in a film, I think it adds to the atmosphere a lot. And especially since this movie is and I believe in 1978 is the setting for all this, so it kind of makes sense as to why he was probably trying to make it feel as gritty as
That's
possible. You know what
that
I
too, and
mean?
like the camera angles. I read something earlier. He filmed most of it with like a handheld camera, so like they can get so they can get
Really?
like wicked close up shots and that like kind of yeah.
Holy shit. Rob Zombie's
um
yeah, man. That's some good
yeah, right.
filmmaking right there. Not caring at all, just using whatever he
Yeah.
can. That's
Can we go
awesome.
back to that last scene too when they're getting shut up? Did you notice their faces? It looked like they were enjoying it too.
Yeah, yeah, I think they definitely were. They're like, we did so much shit and we're a family
We're
right
all
now. I
gonna
mean,
get
it's
fucked
only the
up
three of
together.
us, but it's like, might as well just be here until the end
Yeah.
together, you know, and they are there
hmm
until the end.
But
But I don't know if you want to throw some more facts at us, Aaron, since you are the fact holder for this
well,
episode.
as I told you earlier too, I was watching after I watched the movie. I was watching the dead meat video on it. Um,
Yeah, Dead Meat's
I
great.
watched the kill count video. So all this information is from Dead Meat. This is an original. But we got a total of
That's our
we got a
source.
total of
Yep.
20 kills in the movie, unless you want to count the you know the Devil's Rejects. But um, we'll see.
Okay. So 20
Yeah,
excluding them?
excluding.
Holy crap, is there
Yeah.
really that many kills in
Yep.
this movie?
So we start
Holy
off
shit.
from the get go. We got the naked dead chick. 1 minute in. Um,
Yep.
and then 4 minutes in, we got some more dead bodies, more dead naked women.
Oh, I guess if you count all the
Yeah.
cops, yeah.
Yeah, you got four cops killed in that opening scene as well. With the shootout,
Wow.
plus Rufus, who gets shot 9 minutes in.
Yep.
Um, then you got Abby, who's the chick who they stabbed in the road when she was laying in the road. That's only 12 minutes in.
Yeah.
Then you got Jimmy shot in the head 30 minutes in, which is actually my third because I did my top five kills. That's number three.
Oh,
And then you
nice.
get Roy Sullivan, who's beaten with a branch 47 minutes in. That's number four,
Poor dude, what a way to
right?
go out. And like I feel so bad for Roy. We gotta talk about him for a second because I mean, he kind of made the
Being a
mistake
hero.
of talking to Baby, but I mean, like, he didn't really have a choice. She was right
Yeah.
there, and but like, it's just I feel so bad. He's an older dude. He's just with a band. He's just trying to live
Right.
his life and have fun, and he's with his wife. And he's with his friends, and then it's like you are the reason why all your friends are pretty much dead
Yeah.
right now
Oh, he was ready to go
because
back to that
you.
motel room with her though, too.
Yeah, that's true. Like you can kind of tell there's some like sexual tension between him and
Yeah.
his wife. And I think that's another reason why Otis was really like doing what he did to his wife and also asking him those
Yeah.
questions. But this yeah, poor
Um,
Roy. Oh man, just shoot him in the head and just get it
right.
over
Quick
with, you know.
talk about slow and painful.
Yeah,
Oh.
but Adam definitely
Oh
got it
yeah.
worse 'cause he got his freaking face
Right.
torn off.
Um, but yeah. Um, and then Adam was actually number five. Um,
Yeah, and it's really funny. I think if I have to like kind of dig deep and I have to really think the reason why Rob Zombie probably put that scene in there is because crap, I forget who's the person who plays Otis. I can't believe I'm
Otis.
drawing a blank right now.
Um,
Hmm. I can't believe I'm
let me
drawing a
pull up
blank
the
right now.
cast right now.
God, shame on me. I usually am really good
Bill
with actors'
Mosley. Damn it,
names.
I should have known that too.
Yeah, Bill Mosley. I don't know
I
why
should
I
have known
forgot
that
that,
too.
but he played in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. So I think Rob Zombie. I mean, he wasn't Leatherface, but I think he wanted to do a nod at that, saying that maybe he, since he was
Yeah, I
in
was getting some Texas
a
Chainsaw
a
vibes.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, is like we're gonna have you wear a human
Mm-hmm.
face, and that's kind of like a throwback and be like, hey, here's like a nod to what you did early on in your career,
Yeah,
because he was really young when he did
yeah.
that. But yeah, it's just if I had to pick probably two
Mm-hmm.
favorite kills, I would have to say two is definitely Baby throwing a knife at
That was my
Roy's
number.
wife. I love the whole just shots and everything and how it's
Mm-hmm.
perfect it was. And I think number one, oof, this is tough because there's a lot of kills in this movie. I might have to say, just because of how kind of satisfying it was, even though I was kind of rooting for the sheriff, I would have to say the sheriff's kill, just because of how impactful it kind of was at the end of
Yeah.
the movie. Because you're like, he's gonna get her,
Nope.
and she's gonna die, and then it's just gonna be nobody. Because then Otis and obviously Spaulding
Yep.
would be dead if Tiny didn't come along. But I would just have to say it would definitely be number one would be the sheriff
I
being
did
killed.
enjoy
I mean,
that
it's
one
just
though.
his neck is just being snapped. It's nothing too fancy or too crazy, but it was very satisfying, especially with the
Yeah.
slow mo, and especially since they zoomed up on his face after his neck was snapped, like two or three times after
Yeah.
that was great.
Um. Oh, I mentioned an F bomb counter earlier too.
Oh yes, 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 please.
um. So I don't know how accurate, but we counted over 200 fucks in this movie.
Jesus, 200
Yeah.
bucks. Oh my
Um.
god, that's like a fuck
Yeah.
per minute.
Right. Um. Which actually that
It's
reminds me too on the Dead Meat
wow.
video. It came down to like a kill every like 5.5 minutes or something.
Wow, man. Imagine now, just think of this. Say you're Rob
Hmm.
Zombie right now, and you want to film this, and you're trying to figure out all these deaths, but then you're like even going even further, being like, I want a kill every 5 minutes. And then you're like planning this out and you're writing the script, and then you just keep messing up because you want to make sure like the time like
Yep.
fits and you want to get all these kills in. And then you're like, I want to have 200
Let's
fucks.
squeeze those in there too.
So now I got to write those in like every other line.
Oh man.
It's like,
Talk about
wow, man.
challenging yourself.
Rob, I love
Yeah.
Rob Zombie. I mean, a lot of people don't like him, and I don't know why. I think he's a really, if you listen to interviews and stuff with him, he's a really
Yeah.
down to earth
He's
dude.
like
I mean, he
vegan and
is
shit too.
he's vegan. He's super like all about helping the world and all this other stuff. Yeah, he has some pretty gross movies, and his music is a little
It's just his
weird
mind though,
sometimes,
you
and
know?
but he's the embodiment of
Yeah, right.
cool. Like he always looks cool no matter his age. He sounds cool. His shows are absolutely awesome. Some of his movies aren't the best, but he's not really a filmmaker at heart, even though he did direct a lot of his own like music videos. But if you think of a music video that's like 3 to 4 minutes compared
Yeah.
to a
Yeah.
2 hour movie, I mean, there's gonna be a little balance shift
Yeah.
right there. You're not gonna be like 100% um, great at everything, especially if we ever get to House of a Thousand Corpses. He went
Yeah.
through
Oh yeah.
hell getting that
And
movie
like
done.
you're your own worst critic too. And like I was reading about interviews with like him, and like he would watch like House of a Thousand Corpses, and like he just sees it as like a shitty movie. He just sees all the flaws in it because
Yeah, how many times he had to rewrite. I think he went through 3 or 4 different people helping him with the script, and because it changed from different
Hmm.
studios. Like as I was saying earlier about
Yeah.
podcasts, listen to, I think it's one of the first within one of the first 10 episodes of Postmortem with Mick Garris. He actually interviewed Rob Zombie, and they really broke down how it was with him filming and making House of a Thousand Corpses, leading all the way up until
Yeah.
Halloween, I believe. So definitely give that a listen. I can link that in all the other sites. So I'll put it on YouTube, I'll put it on Spotify and all that other stuff. So if you guys want to listen to another really, really cool podcast, you definitely, definitely listen to that. But I don't think we've done ratings for our movies, have we? Like we haven't done like a
Oh
1 out
no,
of
I don't
10,
think we
have we?
have.
I think we should probably start
Yeah.
doing that. And if I have to rate this movie just on face value without being a critic or anything, I would probably give this movie about a
Yeah.
7.
I'd probably give it like a 7.5. 7.5 blood splatters out
7.5.
of 10.
Blood
Yeah.
splatters? You didn't
I
steal
don't
that
think
from
so.
anything, did
I
you?
hope not.
Oh, that's great. Well, if we did, I'm sorry. Blood splatters. I like that. Okay, we're gonna have to
We'll
make that
have
a thing
to
now.
make sure no one's using
Um,
it.
yeah, I'll do some fact checking
Speaking
after.
of, also, yeah,
But if,
I was
oh,
gonna
go
say,
ahead, go
speaking
ahead.
of facts, did you know too that Chris Jericho actually auditioned for Danny Trejo's role too? And
Yes, I think I heard of that on a last drive-in, because I'm pretty sure Joe Bob had Jericho on there, and I think he was talking about films he was in or
yep,
trying to be in, and I'm pretty sure he talked
yeah,
about it
they
on
deemed him
that.
too
If not,
pretty,
then I read it somewhere. Yeah,
which I could see that.
but
Danny
yeah,
Trejo was a good person for the role, I think.
yeah. And speaking of another really down-to-earth person who is in a lot of fucking movies, Danny
Oh yeah,
Trejo. Man, and this guy is, how old is he
he's
now?
up there. He's
In his
got to be
70s or
at
close?
least.
He still looks
Oh
good.
yeah.
He always acting. He's wicked good with kids. He does a lot of stuff for
Hmm.
kids. Um, just a really down to earth dude. And I mean, he is always tough on
Yeah.
screen, but
He's probably like a
I don't know. I
sweetheart
I love
though
Danny
as a
Trejo.
person, you know.
Yeah, he's
Um,
great in all of his
yeah.
movies.
Damn, he's only 5'6". Yeah, he's seven.
Really? I thought he would
Yeah,
have been at
right.
least 6.
76 years old.
76 years old, and he's still rocking it, guys. He's still
Still
out
the
there
ultimate
acting.
badass.
And he's crazy. He does interviews, I think, pretty often too. So definitely check out his works like with Machete and a bunch of other movies, like dating all the way back until I think at least the
Yeah.
70s. I don't think he did anything in the 60s, but I know he definitely did stuff in the
Yeah.
70s. Um, but that's pretty much all I have for the Devil's Rejects.
Yeah. I think we pretty much
And
covered it.
I'd like to remind everybody too that since we are doing these live every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Twitch, if you guys come into the chat and you have any questions about any movies or any questions about us and like our backstory, I guess, and why we're doing this, come and hang out with us, guys. We love this. This is something really new that I haven't really done before. Aaron definitely, I don't think has ever really done
No.
anything like this. I mean, like I stream regular on my other Twitch channel. That's like gaming and stuff, but doing an actual podcast and just sitting down with a friend, talking about movies, and trying to build a cool community. It's really fun. And for anybody who is supporting us, I deeply, deeply thank you guys because this is definitely a journey, and we're not gonna stop.
No.
And I'm gonna try to, for every month, give you guys a list. This will be for everybody. It won't just be for Patreons and stuff. It'll be on all social medias. Try to get a list of every single movie we're going to be doing that month. Right now, it will be every Saturday, but we might be. adding another day. And that day might be a Wednesday or some other day that we think we can do. And I would also really like to do some shorter stuff with monthly AMAs, and we'll also be doing those on our Patreon. So if you guys want to support us even further, and and you know you guys are listening, you guys can go to our Patreon and look at some of our tiers we have there. It's not that expensive. We try to make everything as
Portable as possible.
cheap as possible, just to make it so you guys can get some extra content out of us. I do pretty much everything in the background. I try to get all the stuff you see on screen, all the social
He's the
medias out,
brains behind it.
mainly because Aaron works. Yeah, Aaron works a lot more than I do, so I have a little bit more free time. But he's getting a hang of being a little bit more active on the social medias. He's mainly on his Instagram, but that's
Yeah.
completely fine.
But
But I just really want people to know that we are trying to get a lot more content out for everybody. So this is how it goes after every episode, just so you guys have it in audio format and not just on text format. We stream every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern time for however long it takes us to get through the review and do any afterthoughts or answer any questions you guys have. And as soon as we're done with the the stream, I upload it to Patreon, the audio version, so that our Patreons can get the audio first before any other platform. So that would be either YouTube or Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, any other places that have any podcasts. And then for anybody who just wants to wait for it to come out on everything else, it would be posted around 3 p.m. on Sunday the next day. Just so everybody kind of knows like our format right now. It might change, might not, but for right now, that's what we're doing. And I think it's
so
working out pretty
too.
well. I enjoy
Yeah.
doing this a lot.
But
Any final thoughts or anything you want to add before we say goodbye?
um just that I've enjoyed doing this and I look forward to what's coming, you know.
I cannot wait for
Oh,
spooky
I know.
season. I have so many great ideas, guys. I can't wait. I can't wait. Halloween's definitely my favorite
Coming
time
up
of year.
fast.
And for anybody who is watching this either on YouTube or Twitch, you guys can see behind me I have so many props of pumpkins and masks and a bunch of other stuff. I love this stuff so much. So, and being able to do it with your best friend who also likes this stuff, maybe not as much as you, but he still enjoys it. It's fun as
Yeah, oh
hell.
yeah.
And I recommend anybody to just get up and do a podcast, even if you're awkward sometimes, which we're definitely awkward. We're still breaking out of our
Yeah.
shell. But thank you guys so much for listening to us. And I think from there, we will see you guys next Saturday. Thank you for listening. And thank you for daring to listen.
And
And
I'm
I'm
Aaron.
Dustin, and we'll see you guys
Bye
next
bye.
week. Have a good one. Stay
Good night.
spooky, guys.